Okay, so this is yet another Christmas where my mother yells at me because of a misunderstanding that we have. I thought that she wanted me to meet at this house where their friends live, but apparently they didn't want that. Apparently they wanted me to meet them at their old house, which is weird because I thought that they moved out of it, so it didn't make any sense to me. But yeah, some stuff just doesn't really register with me, like it doesn't make sense. And so I don't know. I understand that there are things about my brain that don't like connect. Maybe screws that are loose, or maybe they're just missing altogether. I don't know. But I do know that there are some things that I'm really, really wise about. But those things don't prevent me from being an idiot in other regards. You know, like almost setting my house on fire. That's an example. So I think I'm gonna back out and move my car a little to the left. Just a tiny bit. We're not gonna be the Democrat Party, okay? Just a little left. I feel like I am a little bit of a leftist, mainly because of how extreme I am. And I'm very, very bitter about the world. It's just the left is bitter, but they don't have any solutions that make sense, and they also don't work on themselves. So that's kind of an issue. What if they're waiting on you to go over there? I don't know. That would be funny. We're just like shooting videos in the car and we have no idea what's going on. Well, we might as well just open up this cold brew while we're waiting. I call myself everybody's favorite pain in the ass for a reason. I know that my antics seem like they're rebellious or immature. I understand. They are, in a way. I'm 37 years old, and sometimes I still feel like I'm in high school or something. Other times I still feel like I'm like 7 years old. You know, just the way that I look at things. I guess it's authentically childlike, but it's not a good thing to be that way if it, like, makes people uncomfortable or, you know, in a bad way. Because, I mean, sometimes you make people uncomfortable, like, you know, comedy. I do comedy, so that's part of it. But as much as I'd like to say that I'm a fool for Christ, you know, sometimes I feel like I'm just a fool for Amy Gross. You know? Like, I'm just stupid and I just say and do stuff that doesn't make sense, or like it goes against the social norms. But I've always been like that. I've always been really like anti-social norms. Like anytime that a lot of people are doing something, I don't want anything to do with it. You know? Because it just seems like it's not good. Because have you seen people lately? They're not lately can't talk. I know we can't talk. Yeah, people, they don't seem to be very aware of like all the things that they do that aren't very good for them. You know? I know that this is like really hardcore coffee. Like espresso. No, this isn't espresso though. Let's see. It's a little pick-me-up. That's what it says. You need a little pick-me-up? Well, this is it. You got it. You got it. It is really good though. It's just black coffee. It's just cold black coffee. That's all it is. It's strong, but it's not too strong. So, in case you missed the last video, we're just like sitting here waiting for my parents. Because, yeah, I guess I thought I was supposed to show up here, but I was supposed to show up somewhere else. And I'm mad about it. I don't care. I'm still gonna sit here. Like, why would you invite somebody to, like, an empty house? Like, that's how weird they are. Yeah, that is weird. They're really obsessed with, like, you know, tidiness. Like, everything is so meticulous. You know, like, everything's in its place. If it's out of its place, like, it must be put back in its place immediately, you know? Like, they're just really, really uptight. And so that's why I just find myself, like, smoking weed or, like, just giving myself all these pep talks. Because I can't. It's just like, that energy is just so abrasive. It's like you expect everybody else to be like you, and if they're not like you, then it's like this major problem. And I think I've assessed this about the boomer generation, that, like, yeah, most boomers are like this, where they just, you know, I mean, I'm one to talk. I'm definitely stuck in my ways, so to speak, but, you know, the boomer generation, they're definitely stuck. Okay, I'm, like, afraid to call them back. She'll call you, don't worry. She'll call you. Like, don't worry about it. Yeah, but this is how I'm spending my Christmas. Sitting alone in my car, shooting videos. But I prefer it that way. I don't know. I've always thought it was, like, really depressing. Like, there's an element of Christmas, there's an element of all holidays and all family get-togethers that is depressing to me. And I think, like, back when I was, like, this leftist, I just sort of reveled in my absolute hatred of holidays and happy families and, like, all this stuff that I associated with, like, a very, like, image-oriented, cookie-cutter, I really don't know how else to describe it. Cookie-cutter is appropriate. Just sort of leave it to Beaver. Like, it doesn't have to be that conservative, but, you know, I associated all families with that sort of, you know, this fakeness. But I think it's because of how I look at, you know, people just going along whatever path they're told to go along. And not really being conscious of it, not being conscious of, like, why they're on that path and what they're doing and, like, what they hope to achieve. and so that's more of my issue with it. But I feel like that's more of a well-rounded issue. That's not a left or a right issue, since leftists prove that they don't really care about anything. And I think that if people on the right were more like aware of how all these things in our culture are being subjected for the sole purpose of just dumbing us down and making us stupid and unresponsive, really, because it's like you see people reacting really to everything going on, except for the fact that we're being dumbed down. Nobody seems to mind that aspect of it. So, I think that that's why I'm such a strong, advocate and, the DIY approach to, self-medication and stuff like that, because, I just feel like if you have knowledge about yourself, that's the ultimate weapon. Nobody can fuck with you. They can try, but it's why would anybody know me better than me? So it's if I know a lot about marijuana, if I know a lot about schizophrenia, if I know a lot about glutamate, if I know a lot about anandamide, which is this endocannabinoid that produces joy, okay, we have excessive amounts of that. If I know my stuff more than most people think they know my stuff because they're paid to know my stuff, that's just such a phony profession. That's such a ridiculous thing that society places this responsibility that they should be placing upon themselves. They place this responsibility on some sort of clinician to figure them out and fix them and get them back in the game. That's what my therapist said medications are supposed to do. I get all that. I get that that's what they say. That's the idea that they sell you. That's what they're trying to do, but I don't think that's what they're trying to do. I think they're just brainwashing people. And it's not just about the people on the stuff. It's about people that, claim that they don't need the stuff, or, it helps my husband, or it helps my sister, or it helps my neighbor or something. I don't know. It's people just make up all kinds of excuses. And so it's not, and this is why I stress that the libertarian viewpoint is just straight up evil, because you're not accounting for, all the people around you that are going to be negatively impacted by your life decisions. So if you do something that's not very smart, but that encourages other people to do that, or people see it and they're like, oh, well, I know plenty of people that took that shot that didn't get sick. You know what I'm saying? It's just everything has a domino effect, and unfortunately most people they're not aware of that because they don't see themselves as a domino. Well, there you go. There I go. Okay, I don't want to call them. I'm so great. Oh, my favorite time. It's my favorite time. Look at this picture of Arlo. It's the funniest picture ever. You see him? He looks so startled. See, I hate this phone with a passion, and it sucks at taking photos. And all the photos that I have are sunsets and cats. And pictures that Ronit sends me of comedy thingies. Because she'll take pictures of me when I'm on stage or whatever. But, yeah, so pictures used to be meaningful, I think. And now it's just we take a picture of everything trying to give it meaning. Whereas, the thing itself should have already had that meaning. So much so that you wouldn't need any documentation of it. But, let's see. Yeah, I just shoot all these photos at once, and this is the kind of stuff that comes out, and it's so funny. Do y'all see that? I can't tell if you can see that or not. But, yes. That's just Arlo looking up. And he looks terrified. And his teeth are out. But, yeah. I think that you need to call back. I think that you should call and be like, hey, where are you? Because I'm sure they're asking the same question, but why can't they just come over here? Because they're coming over here anyway. Just call them. That's all you have to do. I just don't want to get yelled at again. You're going to get yelled at no matter what. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Like 18 minutes ago, I talked to my mother, and she told me that I was not where she wanted me to be. See what happens.